Sheila Parker stood at the edge of the greasy garage door, her hands trembling slightly, but her eyes were glowing with quiet fire. Everyone in town had doubted her, not because she lacked talent, but because she was a girl. In their minds, girls didn't fix engines. They didn't belong in places like Hank's garage. But today, Sheila was going to prove them all wrong. Hank, the garage owner, a bulky, gruff man with a permanent scowl, crossed his arms and smirked. "All right, kid," he grunted. "You say you can fix the thing none of my guys could touch. Go ahead. Show us." The thing he referred to was a half-dead pickup truck engine that had stumped every mechanic in the shop for weeks. The vehicle sat like a ghost of itself, silent, lifeless, and ignored in the far corner. What Hank didn't know was who had taught Sheila everything she knew: James Parker, her late grandfather. A legend in the world of mechanics, James had taught her more than just how to use a wrench. He had taught her how to listen to an engine's soul. Sheila stepped forward, her heart pounding. In her pocket were the very same old tools her grandfather once used. She kneeled beside the engine. Around her, laughter and muffled mockery echoed. The men weren't expecting her to last 5 minutes. But as she opened the hood and laid her hands on the greasy metal, the world around her faded. She became one with the bolts, the circuits, the very breath of the engine. One screw at a time, one wire at a time, she worked like a seasoned surgeon. Every move was deliberate, calculated. The tools danced in her hands like extensions of her thoughts. The garage fell silent as the laughter slowly died, replaced by curiosity. Then awe. And then, the sound everyone had stopped expecting. The engine roared to life like a sleeping beast awoken from slumber. Loud. Alive. Powerful. The silence that followed was heavier than the roar itself. Hank's face turned pale. He stared at the girl. This teenager who had just done what none of his men could. Sheila stood up, wiped her hands, and looked him square in the eyes. "I told you I could fix it," she said calmly. Then she added, loud enough for everyone to hear, "and for the record. James Parker was my grandfather." Mouths fell open. They knew that name, the master mechanic whose work was studied across the country. Suddenly, Sheila wasn't just some girl. She was a Parker. But what stunned them even more was not just her lineage, it was her skill. Her presence. Her quiet power. That day, something more than an engine had been revived. ## a shift in the garage. The next morning when Sheila walked back into the garage, the mood had changed. No one laughed. No one mocked. One of the younger mechanics, Mike, who had been among the loudest doubters, walked up to her, scratching his head. "Hey, Sheila," he said awkwardly. "Would you mind showing me how you spotted that wiring fault yesterday?" Sheila smiled gently. "It would be my pleasure, Mike." It was a small moment, but it marked a massive change. The garage that once scoffed at her now watched her with respect. Later that week, she found herself leading small sessions with the other mechanics. She explained techniques, diagnosed tricky problems, and slowly, the garage transformed into something more than just a workplace. It became a space of learning. Bigger fight, saving the garage ***. But just as things began to improve, a new threat emerged. The town council announced a plan to sell the garage land to private developers. They wanted to build a shopping complex. Hank, still unsure where he stood with all this, seemed ready to let it go. Sheila was not. She knew this garage wasn't just a building anymore. It was becoming a school, a safe haven, a place where talent rose above labels. So, she made a decision: she would speak. Not as a girl. Not even as a Parker. But as someone who believed in what that garage could become. At the next town hall meeting, Sheila stood before the council. Behind her were Mike, other mechanics, and a growing crowd of supporters. She clicked her presentation remote. Images of engines, training sessions, and smiling teens filled the screen. "This garage is more than grease and gears," she said. "It's opportunity. It's a second chance for people who didn't go to college, a workshop for kids who learn with their hands, and a place where labels like boy or girl don't matter. All that matters here is passion." There was silence. Then a few claps. Then more. Then a standing ovation. Even Hank, rough old Hank, stood up and said, "Sheila's right. I was wrong to ever doubt her. This garage isn't just hers. It's all of ours now." The council reversed the sale. The garage was saved. Legacy in motion ****. Over the next few months, Sheila expanded the space. She started free workshops for local students. Boys and girls. Word spread. Her videos went viral on social media. Universities reached out. Tech companies sent offers. But Sheila had a different dream. She stayed. She kept the garage running. She kept teaching. She turned it into something her grandfather would have been proud of, not just a garage, but a beacon of change. Epilogue: The girl who fixed more than engines ***. Today, when people hear the name Sheila Parker, they don't just think of a mechanic. They think of a fighter. A teacher. A leader. Engines still roar in that old garage, but now they echo something deeper, the sound of belief, of transformation. Because Sheila didn't just fix a broken pickup truck. She fixed broken thinking. And maybe, just maybe, that's the greatest kind of mechanic the world needs.